Okay, welcome everyone. You know that moment when you're watching a brilliant English movie or maybe listening to a podcast and suddenly it's like, a switch just flips.
Mm.
Everything becomes a blur and you can't quite catch what they're saying.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's incredibly common. You might hear something like what you're doing, and your brain kind of scrambles, thinking, wait a sec, that doesn't sound like what are you doing I learned in my textbook. It's
Exactly.
a real disconnect, isn't it?
It really is. It's genuinely disorienting. So for this deep dive, our mission is basically to peel back the layers. We want to understand why native speakers can sound so fast sometimes,
Right.
why it's so challenging to comprehend them, and probably most importantly, how you can train your brain and your ears to actually, catch every word.
And we're going to share some genuinely practical, pretty easy techniques, actually, things you can weave into your daily routine.
Okay.
These aren't just like dry study methods. They're designed to boost your listening skills in a way that feels natural, maybe even fun,
Fun sounds good.
and hopefully incredibly effective for you.
So let's dive straight in then. What's truly going on when native speakers seem to be talking on fast forward? Why do they sound so fast to non-native ears?
Yeah, it's interesting because, well, it's rarely just about pure speaking speed. The key factor, and maybe the most surprising one for a lot of learners, is connected speech.
Connected speech.
Yeah. Native speakers, we don't pronounce each word perfectly isolated like you'd hear in a dictionary recording. Our mouths, try to be efficient, naturally blend words together. We drop certain sounds, we use contractions.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that example. What are you doing? In a natural conversation, that very often just smushes into what you're doing.
Right, what you doing? Or like did you becomes did you?
Exactly. Did you? Got
Oh.
wanna? All those.
When I first really noticed that, it felt like a secret code I wasn't in on.
Mm-hmm.
It's truly disorienting how clean and maybe slow English often is in a classroom versus the messy, fast-paced reality of conversation.
Precisely. And this connected speech, it isn't lazy talking or, just slang people use sometimes.
Yeah.
It's really the fundamental way natural, real English works.
Oh, okay.
It involves a whole complex dance of rhythm and stress
Yeah.
and sound blending that, well, we internalize from when we're very young.
So how foundational is this idea then, this connected speech? Could someone truly improve their comprehension without really focusing on that aspect first?
Um, I'd say it's absolutely essential to expect it. You have to expect connected speech.
Expect it. Okay.
Yeah. Once you kind of shift your mental model away from anticipating these individual textbook perfect words and start understanding that blending and reduction are actually the norm. It's
Yeah.
like you've unlocked a secret code.
Yeah.
Your brain stops trying to find sounds that just aren't there in the actual speech stream, and it starts to recognize the real patterns people use.
Oh.
And that shift alone significantly boosts comprehension.
Okay, that makes sense. So, beyond connected speech, what other elements make it such a puzzle for learners sometimes to catch what native speakers are saying?
Right. So if we look at it a bit broader, there are a few other big pieces. First, phrasal verbs.
Oh, yeah.
Native speakers pepper their conversations with them. We
Mhm.
use tons of them. Give up, look out, hang on, figure out.
Right, and the meaning isn't always obvious from the words themselves.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Hang on. Doesn't mean you're literally clinging to something, like you said. It just means wait a moment.
Yeah, those little idiomatic traps.
Exactly. And I mean, that leads right into the second point. Figurative language.
Hmm.
We use idioms, sarcasm, humor, cultural references constantly. And without enough cultural exposure, you know, jokes or certain expressions can just go right over your head.
Totally.
Thirdly, don't underestimate accent variation. Even within the same country, accents can be wildly different. Someone from, say, the deep south of the U.S. will sound completely distinct from someone in Boston or California.
Or London versus Liverpool in the UK. Big difference.
Huge difference. And then finally, you've just got practical environmental factors that pile on top, like mumbling or background noise in a cafe, or sometimes, yeah, just genuinely rapid-fire speech.
Yeah.
All that compounds the challenge.
Right. When you're trying to crack this fast English, you often instinctively reach for certain tools, but some of them, maybe surprisingly, might actually be holding you back.
Mhm.
Like, what's the deal with watching movies with subtitles? It feels so helpful.
It does feel helpful, and that's the tricky part, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's really insightful here is that if you find yourself reading the subtitles more than you're actually listening, well, then your eyes are doing the heavy lifting, not your ears.
Oh.
Your brain isn't actively training itself for the auditory comprehension part. you're effectively bypassing the listening challenge.
So you're not building that listening muscle.
Exactly. It slows down genuine progress in listening skill.
Okay. And what about another common trap? Focusing really intensely on vocabulary lists and grammar rules almost, like forgetting about actual listening practice.
Oh, this leads to such a common frustration. Learners can get really good, maybe excellent, at writing essays. They know all the right words on paper.
Right.
But then they stumble in real conversations. They'll say, I know all these words, but I just can't recognize them when people say them quickly.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
And that's because speaking and listening, they're fundamentally about processing sound patterns and speed. It's not just memorizing word lists. It's a totally different cognitive muscle you need to build.
Okay, so we've kind of highlighted the common pitfalls, what doesn't work so well. Now, for the crucial bit, what actually makes a difference? If someone listening is serious about finally understanding native speakers, where should they truly begin?
The single most crucial step, in my opinion anyway, is to stop translating in your head.
Stop translating. Okay, why is that so important?
Well, if you're constantly hearing English and then internally converting it word by word or phrase by phrase into your native language, you're building in this significant delay.
Yeah.
You'll always be playing catch-up, always just a little bit behind the actual conversation flow.
So it's not just a delay, is it? It's like your brain is trying to do two things at once, constantly switching languages.
Precisely. It's a cognitive bottleneck. Your brain isn't really built to be a perfect, real-time translator. Each translation step, it eats up valuable mental processing power. It causes you to constantly fall behind. Imagine trying to read two books at the exact same time. You'd miss the story in both, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thinking directly in English bypasses this mental middleman. It frees up your processing power for actual comprehension.
So how do you start doing that, thinking in English?
A really simple habit to build is to start thinking in English for simple, everyday actions. Just mentally narrate what you're doing.
Like what?
Like, okay, I'm brushing my teeth now, or I'm opening the fridge. What do I want for breakfast?
Yeah.
Just say it to yourself silently in English.
Yeah.
It sounds really minor, I know, but doing that consistently, it builds mental speed over time. It gets your brain used to operating in English directly.
That's a fantastic, really actionable tip. So once you're trying to move away from that internal translation, what are some specific listening techniques that really move the needle?
So one technique I always recommend is something called deep listening.
Deep listening, okay.
You grab a short audio clip, maybe just, say, 30 to 60 seconds. Could be from a podcast, a movie scene you like, a YouTube video, whatever. Then you follow a very specific four-step process. First, just listen. Just get a feel for it. Don't worry about understanding every single word yet.
Okay. Step one. Just
Step two, try to write down everything you think you hear, word for word if you can. This really forces active engagement. You have to focus.
All right. Makes you pay attention.
Step three, check the subtitles in the transcript if you have one.
Okay.
See how accurate you were. This is where you spot the gaps, the things you missed, the connected speech you didn't catch.
The aha.
Exactly. And finally, step four, shadow it. Repeat exactly after the speaker. Try to mimic their sounds, their rhythm, their intonation.
Okay, so deep listening sounds like a really focused, almost surgical approach to training your ears, step by step.
Yes.
That sounds way more powerful than just passively watching a whole movie with the subtitles on.
It really is. It's all about the quality of your focus over just the quantity of hours, especially when it comes to active engagement.
You mentioned shadowing there as the last step in deep listening. Can you walk us through that a bit more? What does shadowing actually look like in practice? Because I know a lot of people have heard the term, but they might not be sure how to really do it effectively.
Yeah, sure. Shadowing is, it's deceptively simple, but it's incredibly powerful. You play a short audio clip, let's say 15 to 30 seconds maybe.
Okay.
Your goal is to try and say exactly what you hear immediately after the speaker. Almost simultaneously, like you're their echo.
Right behind them.
Yeah, you're trying to match their rhythm, their stress patterns, their speed, literally becoming the echo of their voice.
Now, that feels a bit counterintuitive, maybe. Why is it so crucial to shadow, even if you don't actually understand every single word you're saying?
That's a great question, and it's actually a key point. The primary goal at this stage of just practicing the shadowing technique itself isn't perfect comprehension.
Okay.
It's about training your mouth, your articulation, and your ears to physically move and process at the same speed as native speech.
Ah, like muscle memory.
Exactly. You're building muscle memory for the sounds and the flow of natural English.
Hmm.
The meaning, you can study that separately, maybe before or after. But the initial focus of shadowing is just copying that natural flow.
And I imagine that also helps significantly with your own pronunciation too, right?
Oh, absolutely. It helps
Mhm.
massively with pronunciation because you're actively mimicking authentic sounds and intonation patterns, not just reading words off a page.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's a massive confidence booster too, because your mouth starts to feel much more natural and kind of agile when speaking at a more native-like pace.
Okay, that makes sense. So on the flip side, some learners think, okay, I just need to listen more. I'll put on English radio for 10 hours a day. But you're suggesting that just more listening isn't always better. Is that right?
You've nailed it. More isn't always better.
Hmm.
We really need to distinguish clearly between active listening and just passive listening.
Okay.
What's the difference?
Well, passive listening, like having, say, English news on in the background while you're cooking or working, it's mostly just white noise.
Right.
It won't significantly improve your skills because your brain simply tunes most of it out. It's not engaged.
So what does active listening actually involve then? How do you do it?
Active listening means you are fully focused. You're consciously engaged with the sound. You're trying to catch specific words, maybe noticing sound patterns, perhaps mentally or even physically, mimicking difficult phrases you hear.
So real concentration.
Real concentration. Even if it's just for 15 minutes a day, if it's focused, active listening, it's way, way better for your progress than hours of background TV or radio.
Yeah.
It's really about your intention.
So combining that focused attention with things like pausing, maybe rewinding, repeating the difficult parts. That's critical.
Precisely. You're not just being a passive receiver of sound, you're being an active detective.
I like that. An audio detective.
Pause it, rewind it, say
Yeah.
it again yourself. Get curious about the sounds you're hearing and how they connect together.
Yeah.
That's the key to making real progress.
Okay. Now, I've also noticed sometimes that learners who rely only on those, perfect practice dialogues you get on textbook CDs, they often seem to struggle more when they encounter real-world speech. Why is that disconnect there?
It's because those recordings, while they can be helpful for the absolute basics, they're often just too perfect, too clean.
Right.
They don't really prepare learners for the beautiful chaos of real conversation. The hesitations people make, the slang they use, the half-finished sentences, the background noise. It's just an artificial environment in those recordings.
So should learners then try to switch directly to things like real podcasts or maybe YouTubers as soon as they feel remotely ready?
Oh, strongly recommended, yes. Listen to real podcasts, real YouTubers. Of course, you need to choose content that roughly matches your current level.
Right.
You probably don't want to start with a super fast-paced political debate if you're more of a beginner. But crucially, pick something you're genuinely interested in. That's key for motivation. Like a cooking channel if you love food, or a travel vlog if you love travel, or, dare I say, maybe this very deep dive.
Yeah. Yes.
And listen to it consistently. Ideally, try for daily exposure, even if it's short.
And repetition of the same material is actually really beneficial too, isn't it? It's not just about constantly finding new things to listen to.
Absolutely. Your brain genuinely catches more each time you listen to the same video or the same audio clip. It's actually quite astonishing what you pick up on the second or third or even 10th listen. Little nuances, words, connections you completely missed the first time around. That familiarity really helps solidify your understanding.
Well, wow, we've covered so much ground today. We've demystified connected speech, explored the power of deep listening and that shadowing technique, championed the habit of thinking directly in English, and really highlighted the critical difference between active and passive listening.
Yeah, and if we kind of connect all these dots back to the bigger picture, this deep dive has really, I hope, laid a robust foundation for you to genuinely start understanding native English speakers more clearly.
Yeah.
We've really just scratched the surface of all the practice methods out there, and there's definitely scope maybe for a part 2 sometime.
Ooh, potentially.
Yeah.
What would we cover?
Well, we could delve into more specific real-world practice ideas, maybe talk about how to deal with the nuances of lots of different accents, and perhaps how to build practical confidence for when you're actually speaking with native speakers too.
That sounds great. So for everyone listening, if you're ready to break through that sound barrier and start understanding native English more quickly, more naturally, keep experimenting with these techniques we talked about today.
Yeah.
Continue this really exciting journey with us.
And maybe just remember, when it comes to language learning, it's really not about achieving perfection overnight, is it?
Definitely not.
It's truly about making consistent progress, little by little.